Good morning. It's another fabulous week, and this week we're going to be exploring the letter D. But before we do, let's review our letters and some of our sounds these letters make. What sound does P make? P. What sound does D make? D. What sound does Y make? Y. What sound does Z make? Z. What sound does G make? G. What sound does R make? What sound does T make? T. What sound does C make? K. What sound does J make? J. What sound does M make? What sound does O make? Ah. What sound does E make? Eh. What sound does Q make? Qu. So you see what I'm doing. Make sure you're practicing on your letters, sounds, so you can read lots of words. This week we're talking about the letter D, my D book. D, dear says dear. Dancing down a d. Also for the letter D. Let's read my D book and see all those great things she's going to discover with the letter D. Here we go. My D book. Little D had a box. I would find things that began with my D sound, she said. I would put them into my sound box. Little D found dolls. Dolls. Make sure you say dolls. She found all kinds of dolls. Dolls and more dolls. Wow, look at that. One doll danced. One doll played a drum. Danced and drum start with the letter what? D. Did little D put the dolls into her box? She did. Take a look. But some dolls fell out. So little D said, I will turn this box into a house for my dolls. And she did. Look at that. From box to a dollhouse. Little D made the dolls a desk, a chest of drawers. She made a dining room with a table and dishes for the table. Wow, lots of D things there. I hope you're listening. Little D made the dolls some dresses. She made all kinds of dresses. Then she dressed her dolls and took them for a drive in the desert. Say desert. A desert is a place where it's really, really hot and dry. They saw a dromedary. Say dromedary. Looks like a camel, but it's not. It's called a dromedary. Little D made some toys for her dolls. She made ducks. She made dogs for her dolls. She put the ducks and the dogs into the house. So you see dogs, you see ducks. One day, a doll was sick. So when you get sick, where do you go? You're right, to the doctor. One day, a doll had a toothache. If something's wrong with your mouth, where do you go? To the dentist. That's right. So she took the doll to the dentist. One day, little D walked out her door. I will buy donuts for my dolls. We will have donuts for dinner. Donuts. Who likes donuts? I certainly do too. She put a dozen donuts on the dining table. Dozen. A dozen stands for 12 if you buy a dozen of eggs. So boys and girls, what were some things that started with the letter D? Let's pause and think. She had dolls. What else? Desk, drawers. What else? Dresses. That's exactly right. She went to a desert. Dining room, door. All of those things began with the letter what? D. And there they are right there. Even the donuts. Can you read these words with D? Let's go. Diamond, deer, domino, diary, daisy, which is a type of flower. Dwarf, a dustpan, a dove, which stands for peace. Dog, donkey, a dandelion, another type of flower, and a dinosaur. All begin with the letter D. Where do you start your letters? At the top, at the top. Where do you start your letters? At the top, at the top. If you want to start a letter, then you better remember to start it at the top, at the top. Uppercase D. Here we go. Long line, big curve around. Long line, big curve around. Long line, big curve around. You see that? You try it. Long line, big curve around. One more time. Long line, big curve around. Well, look at lowercase d. Lowercase d, long line, short curve. Long line, short curve. Long line, short curve. Look at that. And boys and girls, one thing about lowercase d, the short curve is to the left. Long line, short curve. Long line, short curve. Excellent job. Now let's look at our D chart. Say dime. A dime is worth 10 cents. Say diamond. Donut. Door. Dot. Day. Down. Dirt. Dollar. Double means twice. Those are things that start with the letter D. The letter D. All right, let's continue to see what we're going to be working on with D. Of course, the first day, we always highlight the letter D. Here we go. Trace some D's. Write your own. Uppercase, lowercase, and then you find D's. Boys and girls, remember we're not scribbling. This is quality work. You use a pencil where I've used crayons and markers. Make sure you color with crayons. One crayon to find those D's. All right, as we continue with the next D activity, we are working on D's again. Here we go. Long line, big curve around. Long line, big curve around. Upstairs, boys and girls, all the way for uppercase D. Downstairs, long line, short curve, all the way across. His dog is brown. Help me read it. His dog is brown. Well, what's missing in that picture? The dog and the boy, right? His represents a boy. So in your picture, you might want to have a picture of a dog. And if you can draw a better dog than that, that's great. Nothing beats a failure but a what? Try. Remember, quality work is the very best work. So look right here when you write that sentence, uppercase for his, space between your words, and a period at the end. His dog is brown. Excellent job. Let's continue with the letter D. Let's do this book right here, the D book. The D book. Let's see what things will start with D in here. The dog digs in the garden. Say dog. Say digs. The digger digs in the ground. Say digger. Say digs. Digger. The duck dives into the pool. Duck dives. The dinosaur dives into the pool. Dinosaur dives. You listening for those D words? The dolphin dances on the sea. The dragon dances in the moonlight. Dolphin, dragon, dances. Listen to this D poem. I did. I did my work today. I did my work today, and now it's time to play. Did you hear those rhyming words? Today and play. And I hope you can say that too. I did. Great job. As we continue to talk about D, let's finish up our D week with these activities here. Right here, you're going to trace D, and then you're going to make D and end up tracing that in uppercase. Same thing with lowercase. But take a look down here at the bottom. You see there's a D in a square. It says draw a line from the D to the pictures that start with the D. D. If it doesn't say D, you don't need to draw a line to it. So let's go over these pictures. Say doll. Say duck. Say boat. Say dog. Say cat. Say apple. Did you hear all those D sounds? No, because everything down here does not start with the letter D. Your job is to go back. If it starts with the D, you draw a line to it and you color it. You draw a line to it and you color it. And that's what I did. And look at my D's there. Doll, duck, dog begin with the letter D. Excellent job. Okay, let's continue with our D activities for the week. We're almost done. Hold on, okay? Right here, you know that we read these books every single week. Here we go. That's a picture of a dinosaur. You see dinosaur right there. Here we have a what? There's a picture of a dog. Right there's a picture of a doll. Doll. And then what is that doll sitting on? Log. She's sitting on a log. Remember our lightning words? I-S is, F-O-R is for. We have in, on, and my every time we read these books. So make sure you're working on your lightning words as you're reading this book. Now let's read. D is for dinosaur. D is for dinosaur. I can hear you reading. Great job. Next page. Here we go. D is for dog. D is for dog. Let's keep reading. D is for doll. D is for doll. on my log. Say dog. Say log. Those are our words that rhyme. Remember, you're going to circle all the D's with a crayon and all the lightning words on every page with a pencil. And on the back, there are no D's, but we have lightning words. Color your pictures, read your books, put them inside your lightning word bag. Last thing that we're going to do for D, a great book. Remember, we have real pictures in here. Front of the book, the back of the book. That's the what? Spine. There we go. Title is D. And let's look at these great pictures here. Beautiful picture of ducks. Here we have some dolls and dogs. Right here, dishes and doors. Donkey. Hadn't heard that one. Donkey. Desert. And there's beautiful pictures of dolphins. Dolphins start with the letter D. Great job. Activity. Say duck, dog, dice, desk, donut, drum. Let's say it again. Duck, dog, dice, drum, donut, desk. You are going to cut these out. Quality cutting. You are going to put them on the title of your book that says Book of Letter D. Book of Letter D. You know the represents your name. So you're going to cut those pictures out. You're going to color them. You're going to put them here. So when you're finished, you're going to have a D flip book that looks similar to this right here. And here we go, right here. Mrs. Brown's Book of Letter D. Then I read desk. Then I can flip it up. I can read dice. And I can read dog and so forth in that manner. Boys and girls, take your time. Do your very best work. And let's have a dynamic D week.